Okay, welcome to tonight's workshop, and we are excited to have you here, and we're going to give you a lot of information so that you can learn everything that it's all about becoming a lifeguard. We have some really great folks with us tonight who have been aquatic managers, who are aquatic managers, are lifeguard instructors who've been around aquatics. We'll help you understand about what it's like to lifeguard at their facilities. And we also have some student lifeguards with us tonight. They're going to help share their stories around lifeguarding. So I just want to take a minute and thank our sponsors for enabling us to have our high school lifeguard training program. We've Amazon is one of our funders, Moccasin Lake Foundation, the Bellevue Rotary, Martha Pools, and ProLiance Orthopedic Associates. They've been longtime supporters, and we couldn't do this important work without them. All right, and just a little bit about Splash Forward. My name is Susan Pappalardo, and I'm the co-founder and president of the nonprofit Splash Forward. And we are working with our communities to bring new public pools to our community. And our mission is really around building just healthier, safer, stronger communities, and making sure that everyone has access to facilities and programs. We view the being comfortable and confident around water as an essential life skill. And these our pools are places that are where everyone belongs, and we can all connect, and everyone can have great opportunity to have fun in the water and active lives. But yes, we really do envision a world where everyone is safe around water and has access. And so we're excited to do the work we're doing, and a lot of the folks on the call are our partners in this, and so we're happy to have everybody here tonight. And as I mentioned, we are working to bring new public pools to our community, and we work very closely with the city of Bellevue, and we're a private partner to bring in the new Bellevue Aquatic Center to the city. And it's a pretty exciting moment. It's been a long time, been over 50 years since we've had a new public pool, and we're working with the city, the school district, King County, and our community partners to make this a reality. And we are a private funding partner as well as an advocate, and working closely with the development of the facility and making sure we represent our stakeholder needs in the development and design and components of the aquatic facility. And we think it's really important that we bring our community's voices along with the process. So we'll help keep everyone informed on this process. I'd like to give a minute here to welcome you and to welcome our moderator tonight. And Kaylee Wang is our moderator. And Kaylee, if you want to introduce yourself and go over some of the workshop reminders for folks tonight, that'd be great.
All right. Hi, everyone. Maybe I'll stay off of my phone. So hi, everyone. I'm Kaylee. I go to Newport High School, and I'm super excited to be here. I'm going to be helping Susan just run this meeting and making sure everything goes smoothly. So like I said in the chat, if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any point in the presentation, and me and all the panelists are going to try our best to answer. And if you want to stick around for a few minutes afterwards, for maybe 5 minutes, if you have any lingering questions, you're welcome to do so. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kaylee. Yeah, so go ahead and start in the chat. Yeah, share your name and what school you're with, and tell us where you like to swim and what's your favorite place to go, and or where you last were, either one. And we'll so just tonight we are going to have a full agenda here, and we are going to keep it fun. We'll have polls throughout. Kaylee will be running those, and we are going to go over our program, how we support you in the process of becoming a lifeguard and obtaining a job. And for those, this is for middle school and high school students. So even if you're already registered, some of you are already in our in a lifeguard training class, and some of you it might be a little while, but we this is a great opportunity to learn and understand what it takes so that you're ready when you turn 15, and we'll keep you on our wait list and reach out to you. We'll share with you some of the importance of being a lifeguard and why it's so important to have lifeguards within our community, and for you to help us in the effort to spread knowledge around being water safe and how we can prevent drownings from happening in our community. So we'll share some important information there. And then our panel, as I mentioned, our aquatic managers and lifeguard instructors. They'll help walk you through what it's like at their facilities, and feel free to answer questions throughout our panels. We'll be monitoring that chat. And thanks everybody for chiming in. It's great to see where everyone's from. We've got some folks from Ballard and from right here, Redmond High School, and great. It's great to see you guys all on the call with us tonight. But we, as I mentioned, we have our student panel as well that will share with you their stories. And I think that helps you see that it's possible to have these jobs and go to school and have all of your activities. And I know it's a lot of you have a lot of full schedules, but there is a great need for you. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you to work during the school year, as well as those summer jobs. And you're highly valued if you work during the school year for whatever opportunities or time that you can give. It's wonderful. We do have our first poll, and I'm going to ask Kelly if you'll go ahead and run our first poll.
All right, so the poll is up. And there's no penalties if you get this wrong. This is just for you guys to learn, because this is a very important subject, and then we'll go over the answers afterwards.
Great, yeah. So the poll, right, as you can see, is where are the most drownings that happen in our state? And you can see there's a good response here. And it looks like I think we have everybody. So Kaylee, do you want to go ahead and share the results?
Yes. So it looks like our top answer is like any natural body of water, and that is correct. And so most of the drownings that occur do happen in like lakes or rivers or streams, and that's 60% of drownings. And then the second highest is actually bathtubs with 28%. And the top age group with the most drownings is ages 70 to 74, followed by 50 to 54. And so you can see these older age groups who may have not had the same kind of education surrounding water safety are experiencing more drownings. And rates have been going down in terms of drownings for teens, which is really good. And so that just kind of shows you the impact that educating kids these days is having on water safety.
Yeah, and I think, Kaylee, I'll just clarify just a little bit that rates have been going down, but we have some areas where, it's really important to have the knowledge around our natural bodies of water, because that is the highest risk scenario. And so the things that you'll learn as being a lifeguard will help you share that knowledge with your peers. All right. We'll end that poll. Okay, so I don't think okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, why be a lifeguard, right? It is of huge value to your community, and you're a water safety sentry, is what I like to say. You really do help your community be safer around water. When you are a lifeguard, whether you're on a pool deck or at a beach, you become a role model, and you become the go-to person for people at the recreating around water. And it's very much a team environment with your peer lifeguards. You're never alone as a lifeguard. It's a team that highly depends on each other to be successful when things happen, or when there's an issue around the water. representation matters. So our community is diverse, and we encourage and want to grow the number of lifeguards that represent our community. So that's something that we are hopeful that you can help us with, as well as encouraging your peers to become lifeguards. Our program does support students who don't necessarily have all the skills today, but still want to become a lifeguard. These are great jobs, great first jobs. The skills you learn as a lifeguard around communicating, the leadership roles and opportunities you have, you can take those with you to any job in the future, any career skill. And you'll find a lot of our leaders today. The more people you meet, you can ask them, but a lot of people start out their careers as lifeguards. So it's a great first start. You will make money being a lifeguard, which is a pretty exciting thing. As a teenager at 15 years old, you can begin to have your first job and bring in your own money. We do have a shortage, and lifeguards are absolutely needed for every single facility. There is high demand for not only lifeguarding, but swim instructors. So that's also another thing that as a lifeguard, you can also find other roles within at a pool. And lifeguards allow a pool or a beach to be open and to fully operate. So when you've seen shortages or programs that aren't fully available, the more lifeguards we have, the more our pools can operate and offer critical swim lessons, which we know we'd like to see a lot more of. All right. You have a great opportunity to make a difference being a lifeguard. And this is just some of the information that you will learn as you're going through your lifeguarding class, but some of this is tied to here in Washington. In the state of Washington, we've had 47 total children and teens who have drowned over the years of 2018 to 2020. We wish every single one of those did not happen, and we know that knowledge and best practices around water can help us prevent those. And for each individual that drowns, there's another 8 that do receive emergency care and sometimes are suffering long-term health issues. So there are those that have what we call near drowning. And so as we've already learned, the majority of drownings do occur in our open waters. We have lots of lakes and rivers, and those are all prevented. And many times there was not a life jacket that was being worn in those cases. And if there was a life jacket being worn, we know the outcome would have been different. There are disparities in drowning statistics, and you'll see that there's a higher rate of individuals who are either from African American or other races, and you'll see that there's also differences between skill levels and ages. We would like to reduce those, especially through education and water safety education within our schools and within our communities. And we do see that there's more males that drown compared to females. For every 1 female, there's 10 males that are drowning, and that's something that we can hopefully impact and change through education. But it is generally due to having a higher riskier behaviors around water, or being more confident around water. Sometimes a lot of drownings can occur when there's a confidence with thinking they can handle a certain situation and then finding themselves where they really weren't capable to be in deeper waters or stronger currents. Even strong swimmers can have confidence that sometimes put them in more risky situations. So it's not always around having the inability or not to swim. Sometimes it's making choices. Learning to swim and strengthening your skills and being able to be confident around water is one of the best ways to prevent to prevent drownings. Wearing a life jacket that fits and knowing how to fit a life jacket is one of our safety nets when you're active around water. And if you are with folks and you know not everyone has strong skills, making sure that there is a life jacket available, bringing life jackets with you, using the ones that are provided at life jacket stations that are at the waterfronts. Always swim where there are lifeguards, lifeguarded bodies of water, whether it's a pool or whether it's a beach. Choose to swim where there are lifeguards. That's also just another layer of protection. Practicing supervision, active supervision, and you may not know, but there is a term called water watcher, and designating somebody within your party to be a water watcher means that that person has said, I am committing to keep my eyes on my friends and the water, and I'm not distracted. I'm not distracted with a cell phone, with conversation with somebody else. I am responsible, and if I see trouble, I know what to do. I call for help. Knowing the weather, knowing water conditions, observing signs. Signage is usually there for a reason and helps you understand what might those bodies of water you might need to know about them. And learning how to respond, whether you're in trouble or someone else is in trouble. And that's something that you'll learn as you go through this becoming a lifeguard, knowing CPR, and that's part of your lifeguard training. All right, Kaylee, we are ready for our next poll. And if you can read out the poll too when you present them, that'd be great.
All right, so our second poll is asking you which ways are possible to reduce the chances of drowning in local waters. And the 4 options are to swim where lifeguards are present, to learn to swim with a buddy and an assigned water watcher, and to wear a life jacket. And you can select multiple options for this poll.
Whoops, if you want to go ahead and share the results.
All right. So for this question, all of the answers were correct. And so like Susan said, with the water watchers, that's just to have someone in your group, not necessarily a lifeguard, who just watches the party and makes sure that nothing bad is happening, and they make sure they stay off their phone and avoid distractions and things like that.
Great, thank you. And then I want to tell you a little bit about our program, and I'm glad that you all found our program, and however you found it, through a friend, through your school, but I'm glad that we can help you. And we do provide support for students who are ready to become lifeguards, for those that might need support strengthening their skills, whether that's more practice of the requirements, prerequisites, having more time in the water, or sometimes even swim lessons. And we do pay for your lifeguard training certification. So we register you and we pay for your certification. We help share with you the expectations and all of the details around being ready for those classes. The classes that we register you in are at a variety of facilities, depending on where you live and what classes are being offered. Sometimes you do have to travel a little bit to a class, but we have relationships with many of the facilities in our King County, and so we will register where we can and where there's courses. They are called American Red Cross blended learning courses, which means that there's both an online course that is completed prior to starting the in-person class. And that in-person class are always the dates that you see. So It's a commitment of time, and so making sure you do anticipate that week before it, or whenever you get the link to the online course, you are making sure you're allowing time to complete that course, which you can complete over multiple days. And classes are offered year round. You're going to see a big peak right now because everybody's wanting to be certified before the summer, where a lot of summer jobs as lifeguards happen at our pools. And we do provide resources to find a job. So we help you learn, if you don't have to come into our program knowing where you're going to work, we help you see the range of pools and facilities, and we have all the contact information, and we have some additional information on each of those facilities in our resources. We help you with a sample cover letter and resume so that you can, and we guide you on how to go about, presenting yourself to an aquatic manager to help you get that interview and have a successful experience finding a job. We're there for you. We'll support you as you need it throughout. Sometimes a student will become lifeguard certified and they don't seek a job right away, but we're there for you whatever time you will ultimately seek a job and reach out. And we actually support students who've gone through our program and need to become recertified. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. We've supported over 182 students so far, and the number is growing every week. We plan to support 120 this year, and we hope that includes you. And we do have incentives. So if you and a friend both go through our program and become lifeguards, we do have a financial incentive for both of you. And in some cases, we will be looking to supplement or match an employer's incentive for as we work with them and you. Okay. Okay, well, tonight I want to introduce to you our panel of aquatic managers and lifeguards, and I'm just excited to have them all here. And I think we have everyone but Alex tonight with us. So we have Mark Feeney with Samena, we have Jonathan Guerra with Bellevue Aquatic Center, and we have Sophia Kaplan with Wave Aquatics, and that's both the Redmond pool and the Juanita High School pool. And we have Brian Yeager, and he's with our Ballard pool with the Seattle Parks and Recreation. So I want to give each of them a minute to just introduce themselves. Let's see, Mark, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mark Feeney. I'm the Aquatics and Facilities Director at the Samena Club. I am from Bellevue originally, so I actually worked here at the Samena Club in high school as a lifeguard, and went off to university and kind of found my way back to Bellevue after a few back and forths, and I have worked again at the Samena Club since 2020 as their aquatics director.
Excellent, thank you, Mark. Jonathan, are you on with us?
I am.
Excellent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I'm the rec supervisor here at the Bellevue Aquatic Center. I just recently moved here to Seattle this summer, going in on 9 months. But previously to that, I was working at the city of LA as a lifeguard, the YMCA, and then moved over to USC. I've been doing this for 10 plus years, and I love the impact that I have on the youth.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Great to have you here. And Sophia.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm the swim school director for Wave Aquatics. I've been a lifeguard and swim instructor since I was in high school, and then I've been working in this position for a little over a year and a half with Wave. And I'm a lifeguard instructor and a water safety instructor trainer.
Thank you so much, Sophie. Brian, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Brian Jager. I've been working with Seattle Parks and Recreation for about 20 years now. Started as a lifeguard, worked up to the assistant coordinator position at Ballard Pool. Been at Ballard since 2019, summer of 2019. And before that, I was at the Helene Madison Pool that Seattle Parks and Recreation also runs. and just, been a lifeguard instructor for a while, teach hundreds of lessons and just been around water pretty much my whole life.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much. I am going to stop sharing so we can see everybody as we do this panel conversation here. And I'm going to ask folks some questions, and we'll hear more about what it's like to lifeguard. So I will see. So the first question I'd like to ask everyone is if you could share with us what your facility looks for in a lifeguard and what expectations you have, and just talk a little bit about what it's like to be a part of your staff. And Mark, do you want to go first on this one?
Sure. So really what we're looking for is kind of a mix of responsibility, but then more than anything is just strong communication. We understand that for the most part, this is most people's first jobs. So we are here to support these lifeguards as they work through that process, understanding that things like school are going to be a bigger priority than a job. So as long as we have strong communication, we can pretty much make any schedule work. I have some lifeguards that work 3 hours a week, and I've got other ones that work 40 hours a week. Being here is, we try to keep it fairly entertaining. We are lucky to have both an indoor pool, an outdoor pool, a wading pool. So, every day is a little bit different, whether you're guarding lap swim, open swim, swim lessons, summer camps, everything's a little bit different. But in the end, we try to keep it light, and we really want to support lifeguards and swim instructors as they kind of work their way through school and their first job.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. Brian, do you want to answer that? Let us know a little bit about Ballard Pool and Seattle Parks and Rec.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of what Mark said is, kind of same with us. There's kind of a bit of responsibility for being a lifeguard and working as part of a team. But at the same time, I've always been more of like, I've always kind of seen myself more as a jokester a lot of times with the staff and just kind of try to have good relationships, but at the same time, try to instill that sense of responsibility that's kind of required as a lifeguard, since you are kind of being responsible to people that are swimming at your site. But that doesn't mean that the job can't be fun and that it shouldn't be fun. So that's kind of the goal we aim for, trying to keep communication going, making sure that everybody understands what they're expected to do, but also just, try to keep it light, keep it fun and enjoyable. Cause yeah, it's your first job. It shouldn't be too high stress as a first job. And, it can save that stuff for later in life.
All right. Thank you, Brian. It's definitely fun to be a lifeguard. I know I have a daughter who became a lifeguard, and she was surprised at how much fun it was. An instant friend group right away. Sophia, do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like at Wave Aquatics?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what the other people have said so far. Responsibility is a huge thing that we look for in our guards, and like an understanding of the importance of the role and why we do what we do. We also really like looking for people that can be independent in their role. We like to encourage our team to be responsible for their tasks and what they do. And just in general, having a really strong team mindset is super important to us.
Excellent. Thank you. Jonathan, do you want to let us know for Bellevue Aquatic Center?
Yeah, so piggybacking on what everyone has said, definitely someone who is responsible and has strong communication skills. We also hire with the understanding that this is most people's first job, but we look for coachability as well. Being able to be coachable and have a good attitude, and be a good team player. You're not working alone out there. You're working with a group of other lifeguards, including a supervisor and another lead. So just using your communication skills to voice any concerns or any doubts or any challenges that you may have on your first day, first shift, first hour, whatever it may be, to let us know. We're not gonna throw you out there to the wolves. We'll shadow you with someone, but we definitely look for someone who's coachable, who has a good attitude, who is willing to be a team player, and yeah, just definitely looking for all positives. It's definitely okay if this is your first job, if you don't have any work experience. We'll open the door for you if you have those right skills.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. I just hope you all can see how much the aquatic managers and people who help train and support new lifeguards. It's really a great family kind of environment and a lot of support. So it's one of the best places to have your first job for sure. And I did want to mention we do have Carrie Hill on our call tonight, and she is the facility coordinator. She's the point person for Triangle Pool here in Bellevue, and it's a community pool. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And Carrie, if you feel like jumping in and answering some questions here, you go ahead.
I think they covered that one really well.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, okay, my next question is, what are the hours like, right? What do lifeguards typically work? And if you could walk us through a day in the life of a lifeguard, what that kind of looks like at your facility, that'd be great. John or Brian, you want to go ahead and answer that one?
Yeah, so for the most part for us at Ballard Pool, it kind of depends on where we're at in the school year, or whether in the school year or in the summer, it kind of changes a little bit. But generally for the school year, most of the hours that we have available for younger staff are kind of our evening program hours, which typically tend to be our lesson block times. And so teaching, wide range from 6 months old up to, 14-year-olds and different some lesson classes and whatnot. And then after that, we tend to have some kind of evening programs that we need, people to lifeguard for, whether that's your lap swims or exercise classes that we do in the pool. The other times is we do have programming on the weekends, which kind of opens up a little bit more larger shifts for some. Saturdays we tend to have lap swims, public swims, and once again, swim lessons. And it's kind of similar for Sundays where we do a lot of swim lessons and various other lifeguarded programs. And so there's kind of, different opportunities to work different, hours and different time frames. It's just kind of what fits your schedule. If you're looking just for a few hours a week, or if you're looking for a little bit more, we tend to have something that fits most people's needs. And then come summer, our programming kind of expands greatly since we can offer more stuff during the afternoons and the morning times. So typically have a bunch of stuff, but for us, it's very much a mix of, either lifeguarding and you're teaching swim lessons. We don't have a lot of just lifeguarding stuff. So we kind of have a lot of our lifeguards be that dual role of teaching lessons and guarding.
Excellent. All right, that's great. And thank you. Mark, do you want to talk to this, what the hours are like and how you manage it at Samena?
Yeah. So most of our shifts are either 3 or 4 hours. In the evenings through the school year, especially, they're 3 hours, because for 15-year-old lifeguards, they're not allowed to work more than 3 hours a day with youth labor laws. But through the summer, they kind of stretch out to 4 hours. Some people will pick up kind of like double shifts if they're looking to work a full day. Because we're such a large facility, we have just swim instructors, just lifeguards, people who do lifeguarding and swim instruction. So it's kind of up to you on what you're looking for. What we always tell people is the people that teach swim lessons have priority in hours. So if you want those premium shifts, you need to be teaching swim lessons. And then we also pay a lot more for swim lessons that generally incentivizes most people to do at least some teaching. But we've kind of got a little bit of everything depending on what people are looking for.
Thank you, Mark. Great. And Jonathan, do you want to help us understand at the Bellevue Aquatic Center?
Yeah, so we are open on weekdays Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. We typically have 4-hour shifts. Like everyone has said, we do have a mix of high school students who can work 4 hours, 3 hours, and then those who want to work 40 hours. So we do have increments of 4 that run throughout the whole day. Typically, we have like our more settled in, more older staff work in the morning, and then we have a lot of high school students work in the evening. We do have some students that are running start, so that kind of opens up the door for more hours for them. But typically 4-hour shifts, and then we do have the restriction with the youth labor laws as well. So we try to work our way around that. We are ramping up our swim lesson program. We are starting to get more swim instructors to come in the door. So that's typically about another 3 hours added on. So those are typically the hours that we have available at our facility.
Great, thank you so much. And so, Sophie, do you want to talk about Redmond and Juanita?
Yeah, so our pools, both of them are open 7 days a week. Weekdays we're normally open from 5 or 6 a.m. until 9:30 p.m. And on weekends we open at 7 and go until about 9 p.m. Because the vast majority of our team are people in high school and a few in college, we also have shorter shifts. So all of our shifts range from usually between 2 and 4 hours in length. And that goes for lifeguards and swim instructors. So it's super flexible. A lot of our team like stack shifts back to back if they're older and want more hours. But we have super flexible scheduling, and if you work for us, you'll be guarding a lot of public swim lessons, and swim teams.
Excellent, thank you, Sophie. And I think everyone can see there's a range of flexibility there, but the bottom line is flexibility. And as your school year evolves and you go from summer to school year, there's you have a variance, but you're always, the more you have experience and communication skills with your aquatic managers, you manage that ebb and flow with your availability. And sometimes you're like, I got sports, I can't do this at all in the fall, but I'm available for you in the winter. And those are just you have an opportunity to make sure that you make it work for your schedule, but you'll always be in need. For sure. Carrie, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, we have 3 shifts. We have a 11:30 to 4, a 4 to 8, which we can't offer to 15-year-olds because of those laws. And then we have a rover shift from 2 to 6. And so they're about 4-hour shifts. The triangle pool, like a lot of seasonal pools in our area, is just weekends from Memorial Day to the end of school. And then we're 8 or noon to 8, 7 days a week until Labor Day. And then we close down for the summer. We also pay a lot more for teaching lessons, and our guards, you don't have to teach lessons, but we offer both group and private lessons, and we love to get teachers helping kids learn how to swim.
Oh, great. Wonderful. So there's opportunities for you to have different roles and try on different things, and you find out what's the best fit for you. And so you'll find your strengths and you'll find your passions. Okay. How are we doing on time? Great. I'm going to ask our aquatic managers here and lifeguard instructors if they can share with us opportunities you have for growing skills, right? And career paths. And you can talk about your own personal journey too, but just where you can go and how, what opportunities you provide at your facilities for growth. And is there anybody that'd like to start?
Sure. So within our aquatics department, we have a few steps. We start as lifeguard 1s, and then we have lifeguard 2s who kind of take on some extra responsibilities. They help us kind of make sure that our rotations are working properly. They can act as a lead lifeguard for a particular shift. From there, we have head lifeguards. Our head lifeguards are generally college to mid 20-year-old students with multiple years of experience. They're generally working 30 plus hours a week, but they help us build our lifeguard schedule. That we certify them all to be lifeguard instructors. They start teaching lifeguard courses and running our in-service trainings. From there, we have a few management positions. So we have our aquatics logistics coordinator. They help me with hiring all of our lifeguards, making sure that everything's staffed properly, maintaining equipment. I have an aquatics coordinator who runs my swim lesson program. So she is in charge of all of our swim instructors, hiring, and making sure that all of our swim lessons are built and staffed. And then we have my position as the aquatics director. So I oversee all those full-time staff, doing things like budgeting, kind of looking ahead, future planning for the program. And then within the Samena Club, we are pretty much a full service recreation center. So we have fitness instructors, we have preschool, we have before and after childcare, summer camp. So if you decide that aquatics is not your jam, we have a lot of different opportunities. If you're looking to go into early childhood education, preschool, daycare teachers, things like that. We have education opportunities, and then same with school age care. So being a camp counselor, being a before and after school care counselor, and moving up from there.
Wonderful. We got a lot of opportunity there, and thanks for painting the whole pathway there, because you can find a lot of opportunity as you start this very first job. Jonathan, do you want to talk about the Bellevue Aquatic Center?
Yeah, so similar to Mark's facility, we have our lifeguard ones. We call them Rec 1s, Recreation Assistant 1, and then it goes to Rec 2, and then Rec 3. Similar responsibilities in regards to what Mark discussed. Rec 2 is more of an added support for our Rec 1s. Our Rec 3 is typically our head supervisor, head lifeguard, who will oversee either the evening shift or the morning shift, make sure that public counts are up to measure, making sure that chems are being tested, pool chems, and just making sure that everything is running smooth and efficiently. After Rec 3, there comes my position as a rec supervisor, and then there's Patrick's position as an aquatics manager. Although it's pretty stagnant after that, we are a city, we're a government agency, and we do have other departments where lifeguard skills are pretty much transferable anywhere, especially with youth sports or working with the youth. Most places require CPR certification, so it goes hand in hand, but you definitely pick up a lot on teamwork and leadership skills while working as a lifeguard. But that is mostly it. We also have swim instructor positions available, but that's really it in regards to positions that we have here. In regards to aquatics, we do open up in the summer. We have more positions available out at the beaches, so that opens up our playbook a little bit.
Absolutely, that's right. And so with our both with Seattle Parks and Rec and with the city of Bellevue, they are hiring and staffing specifically around beaches, and about to start that up very soon. Brian, do you want to comment?
Yeah, kind of similarly, but titled differently, and kind of a little bit different of kind of how the hiring processes work. But we have our main force of lifeguards is what we call our temp lifeguards, or intermittent lifeguards is another term sometimes used, and that's going to be where most people start, is in that role. And then from there, we go into what we call our PPT lifeguards. And really the big difference is just one's a benefited position versus a non-benefited position. But that's kind of the pathway most people take, is what I started. I started as a temp lifeguard, went to a PPT lifeguard. And then next up from there is our senior lifeguards. Senior lifeguards tend to take on a little bit more of a kind of a supervisory role, especially in the absence of the coordinators or the assistant coordinators. They kind of help, with staff trainings, kind of leading and kind of helping guide the other lifeguards during their shifts and whatnot. And then you get to assistant coordinators who kind of run the day-to-day operations at the pools, work pretty closely with the staff to develop schedules, and kind of get the lesson programming kind of entered in and going for the next quarter and stuff. And then at the coordinator level, you're kind of looking more big picture, as to what you want to kind of have happen at your site and kind of making sure everything kind of is flowing smoothly, from quarter to quarter and whatnot. Kind of similar to Bellevue. As Susan mentioned, we got, our beach program that's going to be starting up here soon. And, we have, about 8-9 beaches that we're always trying to staff. And so I believe, we always have a big push going into summer, needing an additional like 300 lifeguards or so to try to staff, all our indoor pools and the outdoor pools and the beaches programs and whatnot. But, in addition to all that, as you go through and you work, within pools, if you have interest in exercise classes, we'll get you trained up on how to teach and run those. If you have, interest in learning how to teach lifeguarding classes, we'll help you kind of get into that route as well, kind of going there. Through the beach program, you can start off working as a guard there and then get some years under your belt, and you can kind of get it to a senior guard position at a beach, or even kind of get to a beach manager role as well, with enough hours put in and stuff. And then once again, since we are a city agency, there's a bunch of other departments within Parks and Recreation that people can go to, and even kind of working their way out of Parks and Recreation to the other departments that the city has. So there's definitely a lot of doors that can be opened up just by kind of starting off as a lifeguard and, just sticking around and going from there, from whatever you want to do. Great,
thank you so much, Brian. And it is no joke. You can actually become a lifeguard, and then one day you might be the mayor of the city, because lifeguards are a lot of our civic leaders, actually, if you start to ask them, they were lifeguards. I know we're starting to run tight on time, but I want to give Sophie an opportunity to respond and talk about a little bit about kind of how the growth happens there with Wave Aquatics.
Yeah, so we don't have quite as many tiers as the other pools that have been talked about. We just have our base lifeguards and swim instructors, and then above them we have head guards and deck managers. So the head guards and deck managers are that leadership supervisory position. They help make sure things run smoothly when the management team isn't around. So that's what the growth looks like at our facilities. In terms of transferable skills, I think lifeguarding is a really great job to have, because the lifeguarding certification really emphasizes 3 big skills, which is like responsibility, teamwork, and communication. Those are all super huge in lifeguard certification and really important skills that you want to develop as you grow up and go out into the world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sophie. And I know all of these individuals on the call have had that journey themselves. So great. We're going to close out this panel. If there's any questions that you would like to ask them, please, you can either unmute or you can put it in the chat. And there's never a bad question, so any question is fine if we feel like you would like to ask that while we have these folks here.
And actually, sorry, Susan. William just asked a question.
Great.
And I think, yeah, Brian just answered it. But for everyone to see, you do have to be 15 to take the lifeguard certification class. You can't take it when you're 14 and wait till you're 15 to get a job. So you do have to wait till your 15th birthday.
Excellent. Yes. And we're going to cover some of that here in a little bit, and even talk about the difference between beach and pool. Great. Okay, well, thank you, panelists. Thank you for sharing a lot about your facilities, and it's great to see the differences and the similarities as students begin to think about opportunities that they want to have. All of you provide excellent opportunities. No one is different or better than the other. It's just you know, where you get to you know, have your first job and find a lot of support at all of these places. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. All right. Well, what to expect? What do you want to, what is it going to be like when you take the prerequisites and go through the lifeguard training class? And what are those days like? So as I mentioned earlier, there is an online course that will need to be completed before the first day of the class. And that's true for most consecutive day run classes. So most of the time you're going to find classes are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And in some cases with Seattle Parks and Rec, you will see things that are spanned over a series of weeks where they might be a combination of Saturdays or Sundays or days during the week. And sometimes you'll find classes during some of the school breaks as well. But that online course is something that you have beforehand. When you're in the in-person class, there's water time and classroom time during that class. Over those course of those days, you'll be bringing your snacks or lunch breaks, depending on what the hours are for those classes. On the last day of a lifeguard training class, that's when there's a lot of review of everything you've been learning, an opportunity to practice. There's ample opportunity to practice throughout the classes, but that last day is really the tuning day of where you're going to get ready to take the test. Then there's both an in-water test and a classroom or online test at the completion of your course. And you must pass with a minimum grade of 80%. And I should have mentioned too, that online course, you have a minimum, you must have a score 80% or more or greater and to be successful at passing. And I want to emphasize that if you have the interest and for any reason that you don't have that initial success, you can take the class again. We'll support you and usually get excellent feedback on what to work on or what you need to practice with, and we're there to support you. We have had students, and I think all of these folks can probably attest, there's students that have had multiple tries before being successful. So that is, you know, there's ample support just on your journey. The lifeguard certification is valid for 2 years. And as I mentioned earlier, we do support those who go through our program with recertification. And as we heard, that is both going to be a partial online and in water when you get recertified. What are those prerequisites? And this is a little bit new and different, and you probably are hearing this at a time where you don't know the previous, and that's fine. There was just a revision to some of how these requirements are conducted. So you must pass these in order to proceed with that in-person class. So usually it's the first day where you have the prerequisites. In some cases, it's just a prerequisites where the Seattle Parks and Rec, some of the facilities will just do a skill test. And that's what then you find out if you can proceed. But you must turn 15 years old by the last day of training. And we do have students who are close to turning 15, and sometimes that class their birthday's on the next day after, and unfortunately you have to wait until another opportunity for that. So you must be 15 by the last day of training to become certified. And so those swim skills are the first one is swimming for 150 yards, and you can wear goggles. It is not timed. You swim continuously though for that 150 yards, and then you pause and you tread water without using your arms for 2 minutes, and that is the timed portion. And then when you complete the 2 minutes of treading water, you swim another 50 yards continuously. And so that's one of the prerequisites. The second is you swim from the pool's edge about 25 yards to retrieve a 10-pound brick that'll be at the bottom of the pool. And in most pools, that deep water will be 12 feet, and sometimes it's a little less depending on the facility. And then you retrieve that brick, what's called a surface dive, and you retrieve that brick, and you hold that brick as if it's a person, and then you use your legs to swim back to the edge of the pool, and that whole sequence is timed, and you need to complete it in 1 minute and 40 seconds. And you might be going, oh, can I even do that? Well, you're going to get an opportunity to practice that, and you'll find out when you do that it is achievable to finish in 1 minute 40 seconds. We have many lifeguards who go through certification, so this is an all ranges. So you some of the things that you may not have done before is, how do I get to the bottom of the pool? What are good tactics? Those are opportunities that we do provide for you to learn and improve those skills. And also when you do these, you get some feedback, and you get the ability to try these, or you get input from your lifeguard instructor. And I believe you have at least 2 attempts to try these when you're going through the prerequisites. All right. Okay. If you do have questions, please ask them in the chat. And as I was mentioning, we have some opportunities. Some of these were today. I think one of you did this today. I don't know if you're on, Brett. One of you were able to do these, but we hope to do more of what we call these skill assessments. And that's where you can go and say, hey, I'm not sure I'm ready. Do I have these skills? Can I do this? We want to provide you opportunities to come and be assessed. And we're really thankful for Samena and for Bellevue Aquatic Center for making that possible for us to do these. But they like to be able to give you these opportunities so that you can ultimately get feedback and practice and be successful. And then we do have a class coming up on April 14th on Sunday, and these are all free, by the way, but where we will have just an hour where we're going to show you the prerequisites. You get to practice them. We'll have some games. We'll give you feedback. But hope you can join us on that. And some of you are already signed up, so that's great. And there'll be links to sign up or QR codes as we get to the end. There's upcoming classes. Some of these you already have seen through the communications, but there's also, we'll share with you classes anywhere that we know that they're happening and we can sign you up for. But these are ones that are upcoming. And this is a time of year where things fill very quickly, but we have some guaranteed spots at the Bellevue Club at those 2 sessions. So we're pretty confident we can get you in if you can make those. All right, Kaylee, we have time for a poll before we start our panel.
Okay, so we did just talk about this, but how old do you have to be a certified lifeguard?
Yes, I expect most to get this, though. Great, looks like we got everybody in on this one. Go ahead and share those results.
Right. And yeah, everyone got this one right. You have to be 15 years old to become a certified lifeguard. And like Susan said, there's the beach lifeguarding certification, which you have to be 16 for. And then also some facilities like Bellevue Club, for example, require you to be 16 years old to be employed there as well.
And that's true also for Seattle Parks and Rec. You must be 16-year-old to be hired, right, Brian? Yeah, yeah. There are sometimes, if you're not yet, there's opportunities to be junior lifeguards, and some facilities have either junior lifeguarding for a week, or sometimes they let you shadow an existing lifeguard. So always inquire if you're interested and you're not yet that age. All right. Okay, I would like to introduce you to our students, lifeguards who are on the call, and I thank them all for sharing their time with us to do this. We've got Kaylee Wang, who you've met, and we've got Trey West, who works with the City of Bellevue, and Alice, who's with a private swim school called Cyan Swim
My name's
School.
Alicia.
Alicia, it is. I spelled it. I thought it was. My apologies for mistyping that on the slide. And Vesta may be joining us in a little bit here, but I'm going to stop share and allow you each to introduce yourselves. So, let's see. Alicia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Alicia. I'm a junior at Bellevue High School. I got my license through the Red Cross at Bellevue Club, and I currently work at Cyan Swim School, but I also worked at Goldfish. And yeah.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. And Trey, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Trey West. I'm a senior at Interlake High School. I've been lifeguarding for almost 2 years and done beaches, pools, and everything in between.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Kaylee, we'll have you go again.
All right. My name's Kaylee. I'm a senior at Newport High School, and I've been a lifeguard at Somerset Rec since my freshman year, so I'm about to start my 4th season there.
That's excellent. And all these guys went through our high school lifeguard training program too. All right. I'm going to ask you guys some questions here, and I would like to know what motivated you to become a lifeguard? And Trey, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, sure. A couple years ago, there was a need for lifeguards. Like there was talk of pools closing down. I've been using these pools since like I was 6 years old, basically, and like I couldn't let that happen. A lot of my friends were also lifeguards, so that was another draw. They recommended me to the Bellevue Aquatic Center. I found SPLASHForward reached out to me for a lifeguard class, and like the rest is history.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trey. And I'm just thrilled that you're in the roles that you are now, and that you chose to kind of make a difference and make sure that our pools can remain open. Kaylee, what
Thank you.
motivated you to become a lifeguard?
So my dad and Susan actually met each other timing at one of my swim meets, and Susan told him about this new lifeguard initiative that they were doing, where they would basically fund your certification, and so you would get it for free. And so he told me, like, it was my freshman year. I just turned 15 a few months ago, and he was like, do you want to get certified for lifeguarding? Because I had been bugging him about it. I swim on Somerset during the summer, and I had watched like all of the people older than me get certified. I would go hang out there and see them sitting up on the lifeguard chair, and I knew that was going to be me eventually. And so one thing just led to another. I felt like it was kind of destined to happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Alicia, what motivated you to become a lifeguard?
I thought it was very unique because I don't know a lot of people who does like lifeguarding, and also one of my like family friend, but also like an older sister to me, she does lifeguarding and she suggested it to me, and then my mom told me that she found like this organization that would like help us to get it. I think through Boeing or something. Anyways, like one of my parents' job, and so I went ahead and did it during like a break, summer break, I think.
Excellent. Oh, great. Thank you for sharing. Well, I'd love for you to share with the students on the call, you know, what do you like most about lifeguarding, and you know, maybe share something that surprised you that you didn't know, as now that you've been a lifeguard for a little bit. So what you like most and something that surprised you. Anybody want to go first?
I can go. So for me, I think something that surprised me was like how everybody respects you, because like as a teenager working kind of a very casual job, you wouldn't expect like adults to respect you that much. But I think like having the certification attached to your role like kind of makes these adults realize you worked pretty hard to get this job. And like there's a lot of trust involved with that. And um, one thing what was the other question?
What you like most?
Oh, what I like most. I think like it's a very good job to have like as your first job. Lifeguarding was my first job, and it teaches you like a lot about responsibility, because like there is a very serious kind of responsibility with protecting people's lives at the pool and making sure that nothing happens on your watch, because like ultimately you're responsible for all of that. But it's also super fun. Like I work at my community pool, and every day there's always someone that I know who comes in. The regulars all get to learn your names, and it's like very close knit, and I really like that about my job.
Thank you so much, Kaylee. Trey, do you want to give an answer?
Yeah, sure. Something that surprised me is definitely like the close-knit family type feel. You see most people like that you work with every week. In the summers, it could be every day. You learn things about them. It starts with like, where do you go to school? And then like you kind of learn personal stuff like, oh, this person is really good at chess or Connect Four. That also teaches you a lot of skills like teamwork skills, leadership skills, stuff that like you didn't really actively think about, but you end up using every single day that you're working. And that's definitely the most surprising to me.
Oh, thank you, Trey. And is there anything you like most about it that you want to add?
Oh, I like the people the most. It's like a tie between the patrons and the fellow staff members. Patrons, they're really nice to you. They come up to you, they want to get to know you. You build bonds with them. Staff members, again, the teamwork aspect, it forces you to become tight knit. You learn stuff about them, play games with them, and of course, like respond to situations when necessary.
Thank you so much. I know that I love the lifeguards whenever I'm at the pool, and it's often that I'm there. But yeah, you get to meet happy people. Most people who are in and around water are pretty darn happy, and especially after they get out of the water, after they've had their workouts. So and you're the first person they end up usually sharing their happy factor with. So it's pretty fun. Alicia, how about you? What do you like most, and maybe what surprised you?
I think that one thing that surprised me was how much work it was in getting the license. When I was young, I thought if we just passed the swim test and like maybe like passed a written test, that would be it. But there was a lot more. Definitely spent a lot of time in the pool, and also I found it relatively easy to get a job compared to like maybe making boba or like just some other high school jobs that my friends have. It was easier to get accepted. And then one thing I really liked was during the training, I made a lot of friends, and it was really fun, and everyone just like got really close with each other because we were spending like 6 hours with each other every day.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Alicia. Great. Would you, I'd like to ask what you would tell somebody who wants to be a lifeguard but wasn't quite sure about their swim skills. Is there an advice that you'd like to give? And Kaylee, do you have some?
I think that a lot of people are kind of intimidated by the requirements to become a lifeguard, but honestly, a lot of the people from my classes aren't competitive swimmers, and they swim maybe 2 out of the 12 months of the year, and they do perfectly fine. And Susan, I noticed that they actually updated the requirements, and those requirements are much easier than what we had to do in the past year. So I think especially now, if you've had any hesitation about doing it, now's a really good time to do it. And just know that like everyone there is like there to support you, and no one's going to be judging you, and it's really fun, even the classes.
Awesome. Thank you. And Alicia, did you want to add anything that you'd like to tell folks?
I think that we don't have if anyone asks us, I'll say tell them like not to worry because I never was in a swim team or anything. I think it's like as long as you know you're like fit and capable and you know that you can at least basically swim freestyle, at least you'll be fine.
Great. Awesome. Great advice and encouragement. And Trey, do you have anything you'd like to add to these prospective students?
Yeah, adding on to that, there's a lot of support out there if you need it. Um, if your parents know how to swim or someone you know knows how to swim, they're always happy to like get in the water and teach you. If you have a friend that's like a lifeguard, I personally like helped some people learn to swim, taught them to swim that I know. Yeah, a lot of support if you look for it, because like we want lifeguards and swim instructors, and we'll do anything we can get. We need to do to get them. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome, Trey, and thank you. And I do want to point out that through our program, we do provide free access to the Bellevue Aquatic Center for you at any time to practice or to go in. And you might meet someone like Trey, and you can ask them if they show you the prerequisites. But we encourage you to do that. And as Trey said, if you look for the support you need, you will find it, and we'll help you with that. Well, I do want to close out our panel here, and I want to thank all these students for sharing with us their perspectives and their experience. It's really helpful, and it's great for other students to hear. So thank you so much, Kaylee, Trey, and Alicia. And then I'm going to return and share my screen. And I noticed there's some activity in the chat, and I'm thanking everybody who's responding in there, but let me know if there's any questions that we want to bring forward, if so. All right, and great. Here's time for a poll. When was the last time a new public pool was built on the east side? So Kayla, you want to run that real quick? And we'll see what people think. I gave some hints earlier. And this is the new pool. The last time there was a new public pool built on the east side. We got some variety of answers. Oh, great. We're getting people are. Do you want to, let's see, are we good? Let's see, we're close here. You want to share those results there?
All right. And our top answer was 53 years ago, and it is, in fact, 53 years ago. So there have been some more modern private pools built, but the last public pool built on the east side was 53 years ago, and that was the Bellevue Aquatic Center back in 1970. And that's back in the 70s was when most of the King County public pools were built. And it's just really important, like considered, like 50 years is a very long time ago. And it's very important to just keep these public facilities like updated and to build new ones because there's a very high demand for them.
Excellent. Yes, and that's why we exist. We want greater access. We have greater people in our communities that need access, and those swim lessons. Everybody parent who tries to get them in on many wait lists and can't find them. We want to make that a very different experience and offer activities that people don't have access to today. All right. Okay. So I do want to take a minute here, and we're gonna do a bit of a raffle, but we have some lifeguard shirts. I know that there's a couple of styles here. We're gonna do 2 winners, and you have to be on the call still here. And so, Kaylee, I'm gonna need some of your help, and I've got I want to make sure I just have the participants that are on the call tonight in my list. So I'm going to ask you if certain people are on the call. So hang on a second. Okay, so I think Jocelyn, is she still with us? Let's see. We've had a few people drop off, and they may have had to drop off at 6:30. So
I think she just left. I don't see her in the
okay.
list.
Is Sam on? Let's see, is Sam Thompson? I don't see Sam.
No.
Okay, Brian. Yeah, I see Brian.
Yes.
Okay. And let's see. Anja's here. Is Askell here? I know Anja. I see
Yeah, I
Anja.
think they're both here.
They're both here? Okay, great.
Yeah, they're both here.
And I know, okay. Is Isabella here? Sorry guys. Thanks for your
I
patience.
don't think so.
Okay. And Olin here? No. Yes.
Oh no, he is here. Yeah.
Olin here. Great. And I think Marcus has been with us. Great.
Yeah.
Ivy. Yeah, do we have Ivy? I don't see Ivy.
I don't think so.
Okay. And I'm not sure. I see Heather Sarah's, but I think William. We'll have William's name here.
Yeah,
Great.
William's here.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Oh, Ivy is here.
Oh, Ivy is here. Okay. Sorry, guys. I usually try to multitask this and have this all ready, but is Lucas? I don't see Lucas. Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the list I have, and we're going to run, and we'll see if I have to run it again. Okay. Okay, is Askell, you are the first winner. Is that great? And you're here, so congratulations. We'll follow up with you. And then I'm gonna run this one more time. And our next winner, let's see, whoops. Okay, I'm not having success running it my second time. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that, and I apologize here, but I don't want to take up everyone's time here again, but we'll do one more random winner. Okay, and so next steps for you all, we will have, we'll send you some follow-up mail after today. There will be links. There's links on the screen now to be able to sign up for lifeguard training if you haven't already. And if you are not yet 15, and you'll be on our wait list, and we'll definitely reach out to you. If you have questions, please email me. And my if you do refer a friend right now, it's $25 for each of you. If you both become lifeguards through our program. And we'd love for you, when we have our surveys to help us improve our program, we do have surveys that we ask you to fill out. And so if you can do those, it'd be wonderful. It helps us improve. And okay, I've got our one last poll, Kaylee. And we want to know, how interested are you in becoming a lifeguard after hearing everything you've learned? Great, thanks. It's looking like we've got some folks who are interested in becoming lifeguards, and we got some most definitely interested, we got some interested, we got some somewhat, and that's great. This is your opportunity to learn everything you can about what it's like to be a lifeguard. And if you are learning things today and you want to make sure your friends know, please share with your friends. All right, we'll end that poll. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming tonight and spending time with us. And we really appreciate your interest in helping your communities be safer around water, and to have a first job that's fun and you feel wonderfully supported at. And I want to just take an opportunity to thank our panelists again for taking the time tonight to be with us. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Alicia. And thank you, Sophie. And thank you, Carrie. And we do thank our sponsors for allowing us to make this happen. And Kaylee, an extra shout out for being our moderator tonight. Great. Whoops, there we go. That is all that we have tonight. If you have any further questions, we're happy to answer. And let's see if, yeah, we're about at 6:49. I did say I was going to run that second. If you want to be patient, I can run I can run our next winner for our for that next t-shirt. So now this should work. Okay, let's go one more time. Okay, is Brian with us still? I think he was with us earlier. Brian, let's see, and the student Brian, is Brian with us, Kaylee? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he's still here.
Okay, yes, he is. Okay, Brian, you're our next winner. So I'll reach out to both Brian and Askell, and we'll get you guys a t-shirt. So thanks a lot. We will be following up with you and seeing you on as you go through the course. And I am going to conclude our recording.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciated having you here, and keep doing great things in school and as a lifeguard.